Hello everyone. So, I'm going to be going over more to do with the process of after being zeroed. Um, so now I have troops in here so I can actually show you this. So this holds 1.25 million troops. That's if you're being attacked. So if you have like 1.25 million troops, you're not going to get all those saved if you're doing attacking and they come in here. A certain percentage is taken off from after your infirms are full, and the devotion per hour gains back at 2,206 per hour. That's with nothing in your infirmaries. So as long as your infirmaries are kind of empty, that's what you'll be making this year is not enough to slow it down. So yeah, once you're infirm, so say this number here, 122,080 troops. Once that number's hit, then a percentage of that will go into here. Also remember that wonder battles, royal wonder, feudal wonders, royal chalices, bases, forts, etc. Those, when you lose troops, they do not go into your sanctuary at all. They're gone for good, and you'll have to completely remake them. And then as you level, I'm not quite sure why they even put this as a leveling thing, because you didn't have to do nothing and you just automatically get this. So yeah, level 25, that's what it gains back at normally, unless with your infirms, like I was talking about. They have the tasks here you can do, and the reason why I have troops in here is because I was out attacking and stuff on KVK and I ended up putting troops in there. Lost a bit, but I'm not really concerned about that. They're just troops, they can come back. And these divine tasks, monsters, gathering, basically all daily stuff you do anyway. So you're not going out of your way to do anything specific there, which is a huge plus. Because although I still get bored myself of doing that, I despise having to do stuff like that. But you know, what are you gonna do? That's kind of part of the game. So you can't have everything for nothing, which is completely fine. Don't always need everything for nothing. Don't always need to be given stuff. It's always nice when you do get it, but that's not why I play the game. So I need to build up some chests and stuff. Maybe do some openings on the channel. Although that's not the purpose of this channel, so I really don't want to get stuck into that. Check how long I have on here. 6 days. So I have to set my bank to 7 days for that, so I can get my main and my other mini account on the same schedule for depositing. Okay, so when you're after you get zeroed and say you got mostly infirms or stuff like that, um, you can heal those troops back and then start from there. Uh, but it's kind of however it works after you've been zeroed. So you might have troops left, you might not have troops left, and my goodness, I don't know why I yawn every time I do the video. But yeah, so when you're going to be retraining troops, make sure that your percentages are going to be decent for your training them back. So you can keep the one infirm, or you can just switch everything to manners. I'm slowly building back manners now. So I'm not at a comfortable troop level right now, but that will continue to come along as I go. Uh, my biggest thing right now is uh, just to keep the troops coming out consistently each day, not with uh, overspending or anything like that, just to keep the troops coming in. As for the gear, this right here, the champion light, generally one of the first pieces that most people make, at least from what I've seen. That I mean, I've got it to green, so it gives 2.5% training speed. Get the helmet, another 2.5%. I thought it was higher than that, but so that's an extra 5% right there. Nothing for the armor, and the boots, 4% for blue boots. So, I mean, that's 9% right there. Plus, I mean, spec into your talents. What else? Show you what it is without going away from here yet. Plus, if you're doing like sporadic burst um, training, you can also put on your 10% or 20% training boost. So, and because I have uh, an extra 2 barracks and 3 informs now, my training speed is going to be lower than it normally is when I train back. But that's 427%. With the 3 extra manners, it would be an extra 60% on top of that, so almost 500%. Oh, and plus the 10 or 20%, we'll just say 20%, so that's an extra 20%, so that's 80%, so we're looking at 507% there. Um, there's some familiars that will boost your training speed as well. This here, training speed, 2.25%. Mine's only a level 6 though right now. But still, it's any bit that you see that you can use to boost your training speed when boosting back troops or training back troops, whatever, however you want to call it. Uh, and then this one does barracks capacity. So that's another 2.25% I got from here, so that's 11% extra. And then you have this here, training speed 3. I'm at level 9 on that. There's other ones too, not just that. Yeah, you got another one here, training speed 2. I don't think there's anything else. I thought there was a training speed one, but maybe I'm mistaken. Well, anyway, just from this here, that's another 9%. And then this here, that's another 16. When that's 10, it'll be another 8%, so 24% total on that. I think basically it's like 580%, maybe 600%. I'm not quite sure the exact highest amount you can actually get. But just for if these two training speed ups are maxed out, it's going to be another 30+%. So if I had all matters and everything, I'd be looking at around 520% training speed. Um, oh yes, yes. Also, after you get zeroed, you'll have the extra supplies that come in. A lot of people that I've seen and people that I've zeroed out, um, some people have a bad habit of using that right away. At first, I did too, but I got into the habit of leaving it until I was prepared to uh, actually make troops again. So what I did was I left that there and then put all my manners up, and then when I knew that I could boost the equivalent troops to the extra supplies, uh, then I would go ahead and use that, or at least enough that I could whittle the food away, uh, so I wasn't wasting food after using that. Because another thing you have to know is you can't migrate when you have the extra supplies still open. Uh, so saving it is okay, but you still have to be careful if you're going to end up migrating. You need to use that extra supplies, so it's not going to waste or anything like that. Um, as for the shields, when you're building back, um, the 4-hour shield is the most efficient as far as um, cost per. So 500 gems, and you can't even buy the 4-hour here, but that's okay. So 500 for the 8-hour, so that's going to be 1.5 million for a full day. 1 point, we'll just say 1,500 gems for one day. This one here is okay. So I'm not quite sure why they have that. It should be the lower you go, the more efficient it is, but that's not more efficient than the 24-hour. So that's 1,500 gems, and this is 1,000 gems for one day. But then as you go up, you have 24 hours, 1,000. The 3-day, which if you do this is 3,000, but you're paying 500 extra here. They generally work that way with all the higher end tier items. Then the 7-day is 10,000 gems, and the 14-day is 25,000. This is where you're gonna save gems. Uh, you can do the 7-day after doing some looking at it. Personally, I think the 7-day shield would be better if you're going to be rebuilding troops. And how you want to do that with building troops is make a goal for how many you want, and you can do a little bit of digging into with your own research as well, instead of always relying on other people to do it for you. You have the Lord's Assistant here. Apparently I can't open it on here. Anyway, this gives you some tools that you can do to calculate it. But you can also do some like quick math as well. Say you're doing your tier 4s here. I'm not quite sure why it's knocked off at 6. for the training. It's definitely not because of that. Just get it basically to as close to 24 hours as you can. 24-hour speed ups and the 8 hours, they all go into here equally. So it's going to be a little bit more efficient for training, and that's 3,796 troops I can train for 24-hour period, which I guess is not so bad. Or 7,392 for one day, 22 hours. But like I said, I don't have all the my gear isn't maxed out, and I don't have all the infirms, so that's going to be longer than it normally is. But yeah, to do some figuring. So per 5,000 troops, it's going to be one day, 7 hours. So 10,000, double that, and then you can figure out what your resources. Some people are going to be lower than that yet. You can also figure out your gem cost and everything too. So 1184, and then you just do. If it's 1,000, that's how much you're paying per one. You can do that times 10, times 100, times 200, whatever you want to do to figure out how many troops you're going to be boosting. And go for a mix. Don't just boost, like say if you have T4s, don't just boost your T4s. Because when you're getting hit, you're gonna want the buffer units, and the T2 are the most relevant for the buffer units to block attacks more efficiently. There are some people who still use T3s, but me personally, I haven't seen enough proof that T3s add anything other than way too much might and stuff. Um, so keep it at a ratio of about 1 T4 if you're having T4s. Keep it at about a ratio of 1 T4 to every 4 or 5 T2s. That's what I'm working on now. Um, if you're going T3s and you're not going that because you either are not going for T4 or you're trap or something like that, and you're just going to do T3s, I would recommend probably the same ratio roughly. Uh, just because the troops are quite a bit weaker. Um, don't worry about your upkeep or the food or anything like that. Uh, and it's also good to have a guild that's either going to help you with resources a lot for the troops, or if you know that you have trouble with food or whatever type of resource that you need, it's fairly easy to build up. Uh, this is one of my alts. This one produces food, which I'm going to be switching over to stone, I believe it is. I'm going to be switching one of these over to ore, and then one of them, I guess the last one will be wood or something, or maybe I'll leave this at food or something and do stone and ore here. But that way you can be a bit more self-sufficient, and when you don't need the resources, then you can just send it to your guild bank if you get if your guild has a guild bank. Your darkness and stuff, make sure you're joining those to get those extra items. Um, these little goodies here. Collect those every day. Every little bit helps, especially if you're free to play. Guild Fest right now is going on, so make sure you're taking care of your Guild Fest needs. Me personally, I really dislike Guild Fest, but it is what it is. I mean, you sometimes get some nice items and stuff, so it's kind of an overall good, but it gets tedious with events that last forever. I'm not a fan of events that last for a week or even anything more than like 2 or 3 days. It's too much. You have to invest way too much time constantly. And I understand people say, well, if you're logging in daily anyway, that it's not that big of a deal to do that, but it's just draining because it becomes a have to, and I dislike games that make have tos a priority. I don't feel games should have anything that kind of almost forces you into a habit of being online every day no matter what. It's bad enough that players do that. It's a whole nother thing when the game makers are deliberately doing that with their games. And that's not a real knock against IGG for Lords Mobile. I think overall this is actually one of the better pay games, um, because there is a paywall basically, at least in my view, because you have the gear and stuff, and once you're basically done the gear and stuff, it's just all about troops. Even if you're not going to be doing with the troops. Today are good. Mourns the departure of our sister. Looks like one of the leading guilds in this kingdom, one of their players just finished quitting. These things are one of the things that I think actually make IGG, their Lords Mobile game, special. Is I've been around the game for quite a few years now. Uh, Basically, almost since its release or before. But when people have passed away due to health complications and stuff, the community in the kingdoms actually uh, they come together really well. So the social aspect of the game is it's got a lot of care in it. Even if there's hostility with guilds and stuff outside of whatever else, wars tend to cease and stuff like that when people pass away or they end up quitting or moving on. Uh, and they'll show their support and stuff by generally setting camps or whatever the case is. That's more for if somebody passes away, but I found that Lords Mobile is really unique for that type of stuff. So yeah, as for the resources, we'll get back to that. Um, just save up. Even if you have enough troops for 1 or 2 marches, and you're going out and collecting resources, build these 4 resources up: your stone, wood, ore, and gold. Build those resources up as much as possible. Certain kingdoms, like this one used to be, you could go out and within an hour or two, you could get maybe 2 or 300 million resources total, and all that's going to help you build back. Build back better. Make Lords Mobile great again. But it was actually always decent. But yeah, so build your resources up. That's my main point there. As for tiles here, honestly, I don't know. You can basically have whatever kind of tiles you want. This here, Don't bring these back to life until you're ready to actually build back your troops. So build back your troops. Say you're going for uh, one of the more almighty comps. It can still be beaten, but as an online player, if you do the 15 million or 16 million troop thing composition, you're going to be a pretty solid castle against any type of rally. Maybe not multiple rallies like 10 or more, but or even maybe 5 or more. Uh, but have a goal in mind for your shields to coincide with your training. I was figuring out with one of our guildmates that got zeroed on building back. I forget how much I figured. I think we figured about 500,000 troops you could make of T2 in a month if you're shielding for that entire month. So 7-day shields, get 4 of them, use them just for when you're training troops. Uh, so if it's 500,000 per month and you're not doing any extra boosting, you're probably going to have to stay under a shield for maybe 6 months even to get back a decent amount of troops. But if you add like some boosting in with gems and speed ups and stuff like that, you might only have to do like 2 or 3 months. Um, but it is important to set your goals on what you want to get back, and then once you reach those goals, make sure you're going to look after yourself. It, some people get pissed off that guilds don't do enough for whatever the case is. But the thing is if you got 10 million or more troops and you're offline and your shield goes down and your leader isn't sheltered and you don't have war gear on, don't expect your guild to be backing you up. You have to take the responsibility into your own hands to make sure that if those things happen, you're taken care of. Or make sure you're not whining about it, because nobody likes a whiner. Nobody's going to help people whine about stuff like that. But you can get help. Just make sure that you're showing the initiative that you are trying to take care of your stuff. People are more apt to help that way. And you're not putting strain on, say you're off a line in monster hunting gear and, well, how come people didn't reinforce me or whatever the case is? Well, nobody's going to want to lose troops uselessly. And they can't reinforce you properly if you're in monster hunting gear or familiar gear, whatever the case is. Uh, so the key things is you want to make sure that you're getting your training speed up. Um, so the familiar evil, um, your research for the training boost uh, 2 and 3, and build your manners up, and then go from there. Make sure you set your goals and do what you're going to do from there. Just stay vigilant and stay consistent, and you'll get there. Being zeroed is not the end of the line. It's only the beginning of how you're going to build back better and stronger. Anyways, that's it for this video. It's a bit longer, but hope you guys enjoy it. Hit the like, subscribe, comment, uh, whatever you're going to do. You can mail me in-game as well. I'll try to reply. I don't always read mail. I read mails. I don't always reply to mails. Depending on what it is. If it's just a simple hello, I mean, I might respond. But channel ideas, uh, game ideas, anything like that, feel free to leave a comment and stuff. I'm just trying to grow the channel, and I want to put out some content that people might enjoy. So, yeah. So take care, have a good one, and we'll talk to you later. Bye bye, everyone.